What happens when the enslaved rise and win? In 1791, on the island of Saint Dominique, enslaved Africans did the impossible. They didn't just fight for freedom, they defeated France, they defeated Spain, and they defeated Britain. Three empires. And what was the result? The first Black Republic in world history, Haiti. And that victory terrified the world. Saint Dominique was France's richest colony, built on sugar, built on coffee, and on human suffering. 500,000 enslaved Africans kept a few thousand white colonists rich. But after hearing whispers of liberty from the French Revolution, the enslaved began to ask, does that include us? And when the answer was no, they made their own revolution. The revolt began with secret ceremonies in the forest, prayers, drums, and oaths to ancestors. From that spark came Toussaint Louverture. I hope I got that right. He was a former slave, brilliant strategist, and a visionary leader. He led his people with not just anger, but with organization and discipline. They burnt plantations and fought the armies and won. France sent soldiers, Britain joined, Spain also joined, yet the revolution refused to die. And so by 1804, after 13 years of war, the Black Army declared victory. So Saint Dominique became Haiti, the first nation born from a successful slave revolt. But you see, with that freedom came a cost. The world punished Haiti for a successful revolt. The world punished Haiti for daring to be free. And France demanded reparations. I want you to hear me clearly. So the slave owners demanded reparations from the slaves for daring to be free. Haiti paid that debt for over a century. 122 years to be precise. And of course, this stunted their growth as a nation, because if you continue to pay debt, you can't really grow. Haiti has asked for this money over the years from France. I mean, it's a new world, supposedly, but France has refused every time. And so the Haitian Revolution proved a terrifying truth to colonial powers, that black people could govern themselves, fight back, and win. But then the story was buried. I mean, you hardly hear these things, right? Schools ignore it, because if the oppressed learn what Haiti did, they might start believing in their own power too. In fact, Thomas Jefferson, the president of the United States back then, he isolated Haiti diplomatically just because of this incident, so that the slaves back in USA don't get inspired to revolt too. Haiti wasn't a tragedy. It was a warning. It was a warning that freedom, once awakened, can't be enslaved again. The Haitian Revolution didn't just free Haiti. It exposed the fear at the heart of colonialism. It proved that power can rise from pain, that the world will always try to silence those who break their chains, just like they did Haiti. I mean, up until now, Haiti is still struggling. That is the wreck colonialism can cause. I'm not saying all these things so black people can be victims. I'm helping you understand where black people are coming from, and to help you know that the only way you can be free is if you own your own power and take responsibility for your freedom. Because the people who oppress, they never wish for the oppressed to be free. Unless the oppressed wants to be free, they never really get free. And that's the message for Africa. We can only be free if we want to be free. Until next time.